Whispers and shadows, stories unfold, innocence lost, and the secrets they hold. Reach out and touch grass, leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass, feel the earth, feel alive. Sensational headlines, the dramas you muse, capturing moments, the heartbreak you choose. Behind every story, a life to reclaim. Remember the human, not just the name. Reach out and touch grass, leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass, feel the earth, feel alive. Spotlights glow, don't forget to breathe. Disconnect to reconnect, it's okay to leave. Step away, take a break, find some peace of mind. True crime and drama, but balance you'll find. Reach out and touch grass, leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass, feel the earth, feel alive. More than stories that keep you up at night. Ground yourself, find the light, everything's alright. Reach out and touch grass, you'll be just fine. Breathe deep, step away, it's your time to shine. Reach out and touch grass, leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass, river rose without a sound, took the peace we once had found. Under the stars on a July night, now hearts are heavy in the fading light. The flags still wave, but the air feels torn. The 4th of July at night to morn. Memories drowned, love swept away. Texas skies weeping shades of gray. Hold on, though the water's wild. For every tear, there's still a smile. The sun will rise, though it seems untrue. In the heart of loss, love shines through. The flood has left a hollow way, 1,000 dreams have dared to take. But in the wreckage, hands still reach for hope's soft whisper, love will teach. The flags above, they're watching still. Through the pain, through the chill, we'll find a way, we'll build anew. Texas strong, hearts will break through. Hold on, though the water's wild. For every tear, there's still a smile. The sun will rise, though it seems untrue. In the heart of loss, love shines through. Hold on, Lord. Hold on, though the water's wild. For every tear, there's still a smile. The sun will rise, though it seems untrue. In the heart of loss, love shines through. Hold on, though the water's wild. For every tear, there's still a smile. The sun will rise, though it seems untrue. In the heart of loss, love shines through.
Well, let's figure out how to get that stupid thing off. I couldn't figure out how to turn it. Why is my camera glitching? What is happening? I'm in slow mode, guys. Hold up. Let me drop and come back up. Okay. Am I here? And I'm not glitching. I'm glitching. Look, it's glitching. What is happening with my camera? Bang on it, right? Like we're back in the 80s. Bang on it, it fixes it. I don't know. What is it happening? Why is my camera doing this? There's nobody behind my computer. Anyways, hi, welcome in. River Ramada here. Yeah, I'm having a moment. It's already I have wild dogs tonight. You know, mom's with dementia. She's in and out. I know, Twilight Zone. She's in and out. So y'all are gonna have to bear with me tonight. Doing the best I can. We're having some sundowning tonight. It's been going on for a few nights, and the last couple nights have been really bad. So if y'all see me dip away for a minute, it's because I have to deal with mom. But I am here, and I want to make sure that you all are very well aware that I need to do my opening because we have to have that trigger warning to start us off. So hold please while we jump that opening on real quick. Let's go, Rubber Ramada, that crazy old track.
The Rubber Ramada room welcomes all. Thanks for stopping by, answering the call. Ups and downs are normal for some of us. Many days I beg to get off this life bus. Neon lights flicker, my shadow on the wall. Dreams on the ceiling, we run and then we fall. Sharing stories over paper cups. Wheels keep turning but never enough. Life's a ride on a rickety old track. Holding on tight, never looking back. In the Rubber Ramada room we confide. Rock, cry, love and this crazy ride. Dusty postcards from the edge of nowhere. Heartbeats echo in the electric air. We dance on tables without to wait. Cry in the Rubber Ramada room, we're all high.
So welcome in. Hi, Sheila, Rubber Ramada here. That is me, in case you're new here. Nice to meet you all. Tonight's going to be a very, very sensitive topic. We're going to be discussing SA and the women who have come forward within the Jeffrey Epstein situation. So I wanted to put that out there. Why is my camera doing? I want to just throw my camera across the room right now. We may end up doing this with no camera. We'll see. But anyway, so, welcome to the duck pond, Rubber Ramada reviews. We have our squishies because it's going to be stressful tonight. I can tell you that. You know what? Let me go try and reset my camera. I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to go behind my computer, plug and unplug. Be right back. Well, hello. Camera fell too. We got a boob shot. You go, Sheila. You show your nice chest. Well, okay then. I am so sorry. Heo, we're gonna have to edit that out. I told y'all, we're starting off with a bang. See, we're already starting off with a bang, y'all. Okay, it's already happening. We're having issues, and we haven't even gotten started. Whew. Okay, so where was I'm sorry. Where was I? Where was I before I just bent down and just bared my Yes, Cindy. Yes, Cindy. We got to look down my shirt, although you didn't get to see anything. I'm telling y'all, that's crazy. Hey, Teresa. I know, right? That's why I was like, Heo, you gonna have to edit that later, because you know I don't know how to edit shit. Here I was, my camera done fell down. I sit down in the chair and you get, whew, good thing I had a bra on. We didn't have no pancakes, a BHB incident. Y'all know the drill. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you rewound and looked, because I was like, I can't rewind. I wasn't sure. I just know I looked up at my camera and all I saw was my chest. Oh, okay. So we're already off the rails. What is my camera doing? Y'all, I'm just going to turn it off. I'm just going to turn it off. We're going to turn it off. Okay. We can hear me. Right, Cindy? Right? We're going to just turn my camera off for a minute. I think it's time to buy a camera. My other camera is only like a 720p or whatever. See, I can't do it without my camera on. See, y'all, I am so used to having my camera on. I can't function without a camera. I feel like isn't that weird? Isn't that weird that I'm not comfortable streaming with my camera off? I'm so used to having it on and feel like I'm talking to all y'all, and y'all see my face and my expressions, that I don't want to turn my camera off, because I'm me. I enjoy being here. So, okay. So now that we've finished that debacle, Tolly, yes. Tolly's parting gift was eating my camera. Yes, she was chewing on the cord. She got in trouble for that. I did do the mean mama thing, and I put Tabasco on my cords to divert her from chewing on them. So it might be. It really might be. Because, yeah, that was part of my reason when I couldn't stream, because I had all these little puppies running under my desk, and it was chaos. Anyways, so tonight's stream is going to be very triggering to some, too many, and I wanted to put that trigger warning out there. First thing first, we're going to watch a little bit again. I try not to do politics, be political, but to start off this evening, we're going to watch a little bit of what happened with the Pam Bondi hearing, when they were discussing Ghislaine Maxwell and prison and putting out the truth and stuff like that. There was a very interesting hearing that happened today with Pam Bondi. So, yeah, wanted to go over that. But first, y'all know we always got to start with something food-wise. And guess what I found? Which I hate this one too, so we're going to fix that. All right. Minute Maid frozen orange juice concentrate. They're deleting it. They're deleting it. They're discontinuing. See, I can't even use my words right. They're discontinuing it. So we'll watch this real quick. And of course, we have to have one short puppy short before we get into the heavy stuff, because we have to have a little bit of comedy before our chaos.
For more than 80 years, it's been a freezer aisle staple, but now its days are numbered. The Coca-Cola company says it is discontinuing Minute Maid frozen orange juice concentrate. The company says it will stop making frozen canned products in response to shifting consumer preferences. If you're feeling nostalgic, you've got until April to grab a few cans for old time's sake.
It doesn't say, but the where they're saying, yes, Case One. But yes, Teresa, I think it may be the whole line of frozen concentrate juices, the way I understood that to read. Let's listen again. And I think that's the way he said it was the lineup.
For more than 80 years, it's been a freezer aisle staple, but now its days are numbered. The Coca-Cola company says it is discontinuing Minute Maid frozen orange juice concentrate. The company says it will stop making frozen canned products in response to shifting consumer preferences. If you're feeling nostalgic, you've got until April to grab a few cans for old time's sake.
Excuse me. But you know, we not gonna lie, I never really bought those unless I was making a very large portion of mixed drinks in the 90s. So yeah, I know I did. I kind of thought that was a bummer. It kind of thought it was a bummer. And the boob show, I didn't show anything. The camera was pointing down when I sat down because I had to fix the camera. Nothing was seen. We got away with it. No peep show tonight. So our first, just because y'all know we have to have our little bit of comedy first. Over the weekend, there was a soccer game. And guess what? The squirrels got loose on the field. I do not know if y'all seen this, but squirrels loose, and this guy chases it. This is a 2-minute, 24-second video. Let's watch. It's quite comical to watch this. You see the squirrel?
Squirrel!
He's in the goal. Y'all see that? He went in the goal. And watch, there's this person. I know. You think it's a chipmunk, not a squirrel? And this person goes and chases it with a jacket. This is so funny. I have no idea what team's in him. He still didn't catch it. But not once. It came back down. It came back down.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And can you imagine these guys? Could you imagine being these guys? It was whole city. There you go. There you go. Whole city versus Bristol City. I mean, I can be a class clown, but these guys chasing this squirrel or chipmunk is comedy gold. Oh, they got it, and they got it in the bag. That's so cool. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to just jump right in. It was confirmed a squirrel. Okay, so it was a squirrel. Was not a chipmunk. It was a squirrel. Thank you, Hannah. Yeah, I just was like, when I seen it, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to save it. You know, me and my squirrel moments. That was just a total squirrel moment. So I'm glad to see everybody here tonight. Thank you all for being here. So, okay. And Parabola made it in too. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to start off with this. Again, this is Pam Bondi, and when she testified, it got somewhat heated. And this will lead into us talking about the survivors and the survivors speaking out, because that's where I wanted to go for tonight's stream, was the survivors actually speaking out.
Unanimous consent request.
Unanimous consent?
Yes, please.
All right, the gentlelady is recognized.
Mr. Chair, I have a few unanimous consent requests. I would like to submit into the record this New York Times article titled "Alex Pretty's Friends and Family Denounce Sickening
Not
Lies
object.
About His Life." I also would like
Objection.
to submit this Daily Mail exclusive interview with Vice President J.D. Vance titled "J.D. Vance Refuses to Apologize to Alex Pretty's Family After Spreading
objection.
ICE Assassin Claim." One more. My last submission request is a New York Times article titled "FBI Agent Who Tried to Investigate ICE Officer in Shooting Resigns."
Without objection.
Thank you.
The chair now recognizes the gentlelady from North Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney General Bondi, I think you and pretty much everybody else here and throughout the country believes that convicted sex offenders don't deserve special treatment or privileges in.
We're going to stop with just that real quick. I will play my main trigger warning, my little flash screen. So give us just a second for that trigger warning. Okay, carry on.
Prison. And yet Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator, received perk after perk in prison. In July, she had a 2-day interview with your deputy and President Trump's former defense attorney, Todd Blanche. Just days after that, Maxwell was transferred from a federal correctional institution in Florida to a minimum security camp in Texas, which she, as a sex offender, would normally be ineligible for. At this new facility, as the ranking member talked about, and by the way, it's nicknamed Club Fed. We've heard reports that she's been afforded special privileges: puppy time, private workouts, personal mail, secretarial services. Attorney General Bondi, does a convicted sex offender like Ghislaine Maxwell deserve special treatment and privileges in prison? Yes or no?
Let me be crystal clear on this. No. And
Thank you.
let me keep going. No, let me keep.
Okay, see, it's already going off.
Maxwell deserve special treatment and privileges in prison? Yes or no?
Let me be crystal clear on this. No. And
Thank you.
let me keep going. No, let me keep going.
Perfect. Well, I
did not know she was being transferred.
I
and
asked you yes or
she
no.
was
and
not
I'm reclaiming my
transferred to a
time.
lower
Mr. Chairman,
level.
please stop the
Okay.
clock and remind the witness of the
Time.
rules. One rule
And
she needs to
I'm
understand
glad
here.
that we're agreeing. So when we're agreeing, we can move on to some other things.
When
But
we're
I
not
want you
agreeing,
to know that every time she does get these perks, and it's been publicly reported, that the folks she's abused, the survivors who are sitting here, they see themselves as being denied justice. They feel
Absolutely.
re-traumatized. And I'm glad that we agree on that. But
I think I made that comment yesterday that when we talked about this, yeah, Secretary of Services, what the holy hell? We talked about this yesterday, that every time this is brought up and this is not taken care of and we are not getting answers, these victims, survivors are re-traumatized over and over. And why can we not just be honest, come out, say names? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And that's part of my reason for wanting to do this, because I want to understand, why are we re-traumatizing these poor people over and over? These survivors deserve justice, 100%, and they're not getting it.
she should not be in that prison. And she needs to be moved back to a maximum security prison as soon as possible. But what she has told another committee here is that she won't cooperate with them unless she gets clemency from Donald Trump. It's just crazy to consider that she can be wielding this kind of influence within the administration. But that begs the question, who ordered her to be transferred to the minimum security prison that she was ineligible for? Who signed off on the special privileges? Was it?
Take note to the lady sitting next to her that is just shaking her head, and she's got stuff she wants to say too. She's got stuff that she needs to say, and she is agreeing with everything this woman is saying.
Mr. Blanche, was it one of your other subordinates? So please, can you tell us who sent her there, since you don't agree she should be there?
I said I do not agree she should receive special treatment. She was transferred, I learned after the fact, to the same level facility, and that is a question for the Bureau of Prisons. I was not involved in that at all. The same level facility, I don't know why, but instead of talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, who hopefully will die in prison, you should be talking about Irina Zarutska.
I have a couple
who
of
died
other
on a
questions.
subway.
Right, and I absolutely.
You don't talk about that.
I have been talking about it and actually helping with these issues, but we're going to move back to you.
I bet we are.
Yes, of course, because you're here to testify. That's what the.
We're in front of a judiciary committee. Why are we acting like this? Why are we acting like a child, immature? Pam Bondi needs.
I have been talking about it and actually helping with these issues, but we're going to move back to you.
I bet we are.
Yes, of course, because you're here to testify. That's what the whole point of this endeavor is. So of course we're moving back to you. It is all about you. So as we've heard, she took the fifth in response to every single question in that committee hearing. And her lawyer dangled the offer of clemency. Should Donald Trump pardon or commute her sentence? Should she be released from prison? Yes or no? You said you hope she dies there, so I'm hoping the answer is no.
I already answered that question.
Good. I'm very glad. I really like this bipartisan agreement about
when
what
it
should
agrees
happen.
with you, but you don't want to talk about Irina Zarutska. You don't want to talk.
This isn't about Irina Zarutska. This is about Ghislaine Maxwell and the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein. Why do we keep going back to Irina Zarutska?
Agrees with you, but you don't want to talk about Irina Zarutska. You don't want to talk about.
I talk about
murdered
her all
by
the
a
time,
violent crime
but
offender
I am not
in
here
your
to
jurisdiction.
testify before Congress. You are. That is your job today.
You're
That's what you're getting paid
obsessed
for.
with attack.
I want you to know that your own DOJ employee, he's recently been demoted and had some other problems, advises on pardons. Do you think he will be advising Mr. Trump on any kind of clemency or pardon for?
Did y'all hear how she just addressed him? Do any of y'all find that odd?
Some other problems, advises on pardons. Do you think he will be advising Mr. Trump on any kind of clemency or pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell?
I'm not going to speculate, and you couldn't even identify properly. That's why you don't want to talk about Irina Zarutska. You couldn't properly identify her relative.
I absolutely
It's embarrassing.
have been, and her family, by the way, appreciates all of the condolences, all of the help, everything that our law enforcement in North Carolina has been doing to help her family. Her family feels well treated. Thank you, and I yield back.
Ms. Lady yields back. Gentleman from California is recognized.
I'd ask unanimous consent to enter into the record an article by former Attorney General William P. Barr entitled, "Why Pam Bondi Didn't."
Whew. So we're going to switch over here just so y'all can get a little glimpse. This is 3.5, almost 4 minutes long. This is jail footage of Ghislaine. This is her in her little home because she's so mistreated. And because she's just so innocent of everything she did. however you want to put it. I'll turn the volume down because there's just music. But she's just lounging. So this is an inside glimpse of her jail cell. This was July 5th, 2020. So this is an older one, but just to see. Looks pretty boring. Not much of a life there. But you chose this life. What is she going to do? Exercises? She's covering her eye. They don't turn the lights out. So she's using the arm sleeve of her jacket or her overtop to cover her eyes. Going to pace in my square cell. The time on the recording started at like 7:04 and we're just now at 8:39. Could you imagine the boredom? I couldn't. I mean, yeah, she has a blanket. Oh, we're doing exercises now. Waist. Oh, okay, we're going to lay on the floor. What are we going to do on the floor? Oh, we're doing butt crunches. She is just bored. She has 2 blankets. Oh, you're right. You're right. See what you spotted there, Content Angel? She has 2 blankets. That's against the rules. Shame on. See? What? Again. Like, what did they say? You think so, K-Swan? Wonder what's in that meal. See if we can get a better look. Can't really tell, but we tried. We tried with the Mrs. Kravitz lens. We tried. Okay, that's enough of her. She looks boring. So, what we're going to do... hold up. We're going to jump into this. This is the survivors. This is 33 minutes. This is the survivor. This is, actually, let me give y'all a little read of it. It says, the survivors of the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell speak to NBC News' Haley Jackson after the Pam Bondi was questioned by lawmakers in hours-long hearing on Capitol Hill. Women expressed frustration over Bondi's handling of the case and her refusal to apologize to the Justice Department. So we're going to watch this. And then after we watch this, then we will go into, I have individual accounts from the survivors. I have pulled up some videos. Some of them are a little older. Some of them are more recent. I have one from Virginia Giuffre from before she passed, and then of her family speaking after she passed also. So we will have that also. So let's roll.
Survivors of Epstein's abuse and 2 family members who tell me they feel that the Justice Department is not taking accountability. We've got that conversation here on our NBC News Now special coverage. Thank you all so much for being here. I know you literally have just come over off of Capitol Hill, where the Attorney General had appeared for that hearing in front of the House Judiciary Committee. I want to do just a couple of show of hands moments on how you feel about that, and then I want to talk about your reaction to everything we heard today. So with the show of hands, can you show me your hands if you were satisfied with what you heard from the Attorney General today?
Not a single one raised their hand.
Show of hands if you are frustrated with what you heard.
Very much so.
Every one of them.
Teresa, tell me more about that.
Well, going into this morning, and much of this process, I have this perspective that you need to give people the opportunity.
Thanks for being here, Teresa.
They're going to do to fulfill their word, put their money where their mouth is, so to speak. And we have yet again seen that go the complete opposite direction of there's no integrity. There was no integrity in that room today. It seemed like as far when it came to Epstein and Maxwell, there was a lot of expression of other good outcomes on things. And I can agree with a lot of what was said. And there was nothing that gave us any bit of hope of any kind of integrity and doing the right thing when it comes to Epstein Maxwell accountability, further investigation, which she claimed was happening. And we're going to be waiting to see the outcome of that and see if that's an accurate, legitimate statement.
Danny, I see you nodding and shaking your head.
I think there was such a lack of empathy today. There was such a lack of, honestly, humanity today.
Okay, let me speak up and say something. I don't think it's just today's lack of humanity and humility.
Something that, I think all of us felt a little devastated about was that she had 3 opportunities to address survivors. We stood up and all she had to do was turn around, and she could not even turn around and face us. For so many years, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, I felt like such a ghost walking through Epstein's mansion. I felt like there were so many people who saw me. There were so many people who should have spoken up. And instead, I felt like I was less than nothing. And now to not have AG Bondi turn around and acknowledge us, it is the exact same type of victimization. It's horrible.
Charlene, what did you think of that moment when you all were standing there and she was asked by one of the members of Congress to turn around and address you?
I felt really degraded. I felt that she's not taking at all any accountability. She's not following any kind of transparency. And honestly, the thought that I have is birds of a feather flock together.
Huh. Isn't that a great term to use at this point? Birds of a feather flock together. It's exactly what we're seeing. It's exactly what we're seeing. And it's very, very scary.
So I feel like the way that she handled today is often the way that our president or other people have treated us that are really high up. And I felt like she was treating us just like everybody else has in the justice system and beyond.
I was looking at you all. The cameras there had shown a view of you in that moment on your feet in front of this hearing room, in front of all of these cameras. And I wonder, Jess, Liz, all of you, if you can take me, what was going inside in your mind? What was happening in your mind? What were you thinking as that moment was happening?
So one of the things I was thinking in that moment is that it is such a simple act to turn around and say, I apologize for the terrible job our DOJ did in releasing, that is something that is completely inappropriate, to take responsibility for that, for the damage they did to us, not to state it as, yes, we understand damage was done. No, to us. It was such a simple thing. And it's something we teach children, to take accountability, to recognize when you've made a mistake and you just apologize for it. So there wasn't even an adult in the room that could apologize for the damage done to children and girls.
In her opening remarks, the Attorney General said, I am deeply sorry for what any victim has been through, especially as a result of that monster.
That monster, but not. So there's the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein, and then there's the crimes of the cover-up. And she's part of that continuing cover-up. So she didn't apologize for that.
But when she said that monster, she said it as if he acted alone.
Yes.
And Epstein was absolutely a monster, but he didn't act alone. And I think that we now have more evidence of that.
And this is what's slowly coming out, is he didn't act alone. You know, we talked about this last night. There's so many more involved that we do not know about. The redactions, the names that are hidden. Ooh, my words didn't come out. The names that are hidden. When they went and read the documents, unredacted documents, there were names in there that shouldn't have, that one of the guys I was listening to last night was talking, or not last night, this morning was talking about that Lex Wessner was in there so much in places that really shouldn't have been redacted. And why was it so much redacted? You know, there was questions being asked about that. And, you know, these women deserve justice. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be a while before they'll be able to see anything. And a lot more is going to have to come out. A lot's going to have to be spoken about. So yeah, it's quite interesting. Sorry, I had to adjust. Get more comfortable.
From what we've seen in the
Thank
files.
you, Hannah.
And what is really difficult for me to wrap my head around is I met Epstein and Maxwell when I was 21. I'm almost 53 now. And I was just raised differently. I was raised to respect our government. I was raised to be able to speak to people of different political parties. And maybe I don't always agree with them, but their insights help me shape my opinions. And I just don't see that happening. And that's what I grew up in. That's the America that I grew up in. And for us to now feel like the Department of Justice, which is in charge of seeking justice for all Americans who are victims of crime, they've just completely let us down. And so to hear her say, if you have been a victim of crime, we want you to call the FBI. I called the FBI. I called the FBI, and in the release of files, my intake report was released twice, once with my part of my address, and once where my name was unredacted several times, including in a sentence that said, Stein was a victim of Epstein and Maxwell in the mid-90s. So I find it really difficult to have any faith when we are constantly, you know, being manipulated and downplayed by our government.
And that's an exact point that I have to say too, is because it's being so covered up and everything's being so silenced, and we're having to watch what names we say because they're redacting this and redacting that. How fair is that? How fair can that be to these survivors that want justice? I mean, justice for what has happened to them.
You know, we've heard several times our government say, we're moving on from this. And that just enrages me.
Yeah.
This has been 3 decades of my life. We'd all love to move on with this, but how do you move on if you don't have justice? And the Department of Justice's job is to seek justice. And they, for some reason, don't feel like they have to. And that's just incomprehensible.
You and I have talked before. I see a lot of emotion in your face.
Yeah.
This is all coming back up again for you.
You know, survivors of sexual assault, we are chastised so frequently. Why didn't you tell? Why didn't you fight back? All of these questions. And here we're seeing survivors have been telling, and they have been speaking out, starting 3 decades ago when Maria Farmer first reported this crime to the FBI. And over and over and over and over again, different branches of our Justice Department and you know, law enforcement that should have protected us haven't. It's like this massive institutional failure that we don't want to address. Yeah. And it's not just us anymore. It's not just about the Epstein case. It's about survivors everywhere. They're watching us, victims of crime everywhere.
Right. And therefore, crimes are everywhere. And people report them. Some people don't get taken seriously. A lot are ignored, brushed under the table. I remember a few years back about all the SA kits in Houston that were just left on shelves and never taken care of for these people, these victims and survivors of this. So it needs to be brought about. It needs to be shown. Yes, Michelle, you're absolutely right. People are ashamed of knowing what you endured. It's shameful. She's taking care of it. Meaning, who? Who's taking care of it? Because Pam Bondi isn't taking care of it. And it is very shameful. Yes, and I have to agree with you. Yours truly, Todd. Welcome in. Nice to see you. It's very screwed up politically. We don't normally talk politics or religion in here. Unfortunately, this Epstein case has brought politics to my chat. So, and here we are. Hey, Hawkeyes, good to see you. And yes, they were children. For fuck's sakes, they were children. They were underage, like the ones we seen yesterday. They were talking, remember the old lady yesterday on the video? And if any of the newbies want to go back and watch yesterday's stream later on, when this one's over, we had watched a video of an older lady that said the woman had seen after school girls bringing their friends to come meet Epstein. They were high school girls. They knew that if they came, he would give them money and give them opportunities. That didn't happen.
This is something that people already don't talk about, and that's why it persists. And so now we're going to expect victims who are watching us be treated this way. We're going to expect them to talk about what's happened to them. That's hard ask.
Yeah.
But we have a chance to change the conversation and change the narrative and say, you know what, these things happen because we don't talk about them. And that's why we need to, no matter how hard it is. We need to sit with how uncomfortable this is as a nation.
She's right.
Because it's the only way to get past it.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you feel that discomfort in the room?
It needs to be talked about. And if that's what makes these women feel better, then let them tell their story. If this is what helps them survive and get closure and get redemption in their feelings and in their emotions, then let them do it.
Today?
You know, I got to be honest with you. It was definitely a lot of discomfort, but I think we were, you know, I don't know if I should say like I was a little embarrassed to see that she couldn't say sorry to us because she sat there in the beginning. She said sorry for what Jeffrey Epstein did to us, but yet she couldn't apologize what she did to us, what her department did to us, right? It's like you had one job was to redact our names, to respect our privacy. But yet you carefully took the time to redact all these powerful, rich men. So, you know, it's like, is it your department that can't keep up with, you know, are you guys being sloppy? You know, what's going on here? It's what we wonder every day. Where did it go wrong? And then I think we all realize now, oh, you guys really wanted to silence us. And you thought that you could scare us by putting our names out there. And to be honest with you, we've been through worse. This is nothing for us. If anything, this encourages us to speak more and not to be silenced. So we like to set the record here. If there are more files to be released, which we hope that these files that are released, they need to be, you know, the men that are, you know, the perpetrators that we did know about and that are out there now, they need to be investigated. And we cannot fail to do that as as the United States of America. We have other countries that are taking action in this, and we are doing absolutely nothing, and it is infuriating.
I want to come back to this. Oh, go ahead, Danny.
I do want to say something she did not say much today. I mean, she really evaded every question. She knew how to evade and was just using statistics. I mean, any game that she could play, she was playing. But the one thing that she did say is that there are investigations.
Well, so that's what I want to get into, because some of these prominent individuals, the ones that have been out there, officials have not publicly accused them of wrongdoing related to Epstein, but the Attorney General did say today when pressed about the potential for new prosecutions, she says there are pending investigations.
Who, what, where, why, when.
Yeah,
we don't have any information.
Exactly.
And I would think that they would come to us to get that information.
And we still haven't talked yet. We haven't even.
Nobody's talked to them yet.
Yeah, nobody's talked to any of us.
Show of hands, has anybody had any communication with the DOJ over the course of the last, let's say, 6 months?
Nope.
Do you want to have that?
So you mean to say that over the last 6 months that all this is coming out, nobody's bothered to contact them? There has to be some kind of committee or something that can oversee, in my mind, this that's going on. Because whatever is happening doesn't seem to be working. It just doesn't seem to be working. Things are coming out, but it's, I don't know what, my words are not coming out right. I'm going to be quiet, let this play for a minute.
Communication?
Yes. We've all asked for it.
Does it mean we feel safe?
Yeah.
Does it mean that we think she's going to listen? No, but we deserve the chance as citizens of this country.
She also said, you know, she was talking about anybody can go to the FBI. Any survivor right now can go to the FBI. And then we saw 302s that are full pages of black that even our congressional leaders can't get access to. So we've gone to the FBI. We've done the legwork. We've done everything we know how to do. And then to gaslight the American people and stand up there and say, well, they need to come over. They need to come talk to us. It's like, I don't know what else we have to do. We're here at the hearing. Like, we are doing everything we possibly can. So please tell us what else we need to do.
Yeah. Somebody who I imagine all of you are thinking about, and I'm sure nobody more than the two of you, is Virginia Roberts Giuffre, who has been in all of our conversations, many of our conversations, the person who you all have said brought together the people she called her survivor sisters. And I wonder, Skye and Amanda, how did you think of Virginia today in that room, sitting there? I was watching both of you during some of these interactions with the Attorney General. Tell me what was going through your mind.
I was infuriated for her. How much more of a cost do survivors need to pay? Virginia paid the ultimate price for her trauma and the consistent failure of every single system she's been a part of, even in the one in Australia. She was failed over and over and over again. And she'd proven herself in court to be a truth teller. And when that congressman put up a picture of former Prince Andrew, and Pam Bondi refused to acknowledge, and that was the thing about it, every time there was a question about Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, our perpetrators, the contempt you almost see rise in her body, her whole face. I mean, I purposefully turned my body that way and stared at her to see, like, will you turn around and in one moment acknowledge and look at us, okay? Because Virginia was trashed for her allegations. I mean, ripped apart for years. She was a lone survivor. She kept pushing and kept pushing. And in those files, Ghislaine Maxwell gave her her own vindication. We know Virginia named over 40 names in sealed depositions and open depositions. We know a minimum she has named, and yet we still refuse to see them acknowledge or investigate any of those people. And Virginia has proven herself in court over and over and over again. And to sit there again and have this contempt for the questions when the Congress people, I said in my speech today, we're not here for theatrics. And she's like, oh, the theater. And I'm like, yes, you're the main character in this.
The circus act.
Yes. Ooh, that's saying a lot. You are the main character in this circus act. Right now she is, because she's it seems as if she's not opening herself to the truth. You know, it's covering things, it's hiding things. And again, y'all know me and my channel. I've always been that way. You speak your truth, you stand on it, you say what you mean what you say. You don't ever back down. And, you know, if you have something to say, say it. Speak up. Don't ever let anyone silence you. And these women right here, they're not being silenced. So big round of applause to them.
Yeah. She was a comedian today. Well said. Yes. Everyone was laughing at her.
And you see how they're feeling about her, saying she's a
deflection all day
comedian?
long.
One of the things that she said in response to some of these questions was, you know, and I'm paraphrasing here, but she said, why didn't you ask this of Merrick Garland, obviously the former attorney general? She referenced other administrations past. How did you hear that?
Nobody's saying that the other administration handled it correctly.
Yeah.
We're not
Exactly.
standing here saying that this other administration, you know, could have taken other actions. We're saying, yes, they could have, but this is in your hands now.
Mhm.
This is in your hands, and you have an opportunity to step forward and do the right thing. And, you know, it was just, God, just the continued, Danny, you put it perfectly, like the gaslighting. You know, anytime they would bring up anything relative to Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell, she would say, well, because in your district, you don't want to talk about this person. It's like, you have survivors right behind you, you know? She's like, any survivor can come forward and talk to us. Well, first, you don't really have an open door policy. Let's put it that way. Okay. And I think the second part to it is that they already have Virginia named more than 40 names. They're in those files. Why aren't we just going back to those? There's more than enough evidence to present forward. And now she's contradicting herself, specifically to Todd Blanche, because he's saying there's no investigations that are going to be happening. And now she's saying there's investigations. So which one is it? Are you doing investigations or are you not? Like, we need real answers. And I hope that I hope the American people can continue to stand behind us. I hope that they can demand justice, because realistically, this justice needs to happen. But if we need to go the social route too, we should be putting these names up. What boards are they on? What companies do they own? Like, we shouldn't be supporting any of those, and we should go after our social justice and continue to pursue this justice as well.
One of the things the Attorney General also said was that at one point, when asked about the redactions and acknowledging the errors that were made, both over redacting and under redacting, she said that the Department of Justice did the best they could, given the time constraints of the Epstein Transparency Act. Do you believe they did the best they could?
That was just another
did the best
statement
for
that
themselves,
said throughout the entire day. That was something that was said several times. I noticed by several different congressmen and women, because they want us and the American public to feel that because they were rushed, because they had these time constraints, that this is then the reason why the redactions were not properly made when they should have been guaranteed to be made, and then protected the predators and perpetrators, which should never have happened.
Being protected, and they're still being protected. And it shouldn't have happened. These women are speaking their truth. They're speaking their mind. And I'm so glad they held this and was able to sit down with the news station and discuss this. I think it needed to be done.
So that was just yet again another example of them trying to deflect their responsibility and almost trying to transfer all that shame and accountability to the American public, wanting to push the vote through, and even us survivors for wanting to see the Epstein Transparency Act signed.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's form of victim blaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Right
there's
there. Keyword, victim blaming. I prefer survivor rather than victim, but a lot of it is victim blaming. And y'all have to excuse me. My dog is over here. She's making a mess. That's what all this scratching noise is. At least she's not barking. And y'all, for all your newbies here, bark warning, because my dogs do bark at odd times.
Victim list that was released. It's called victim list. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and it had a list of victims.
It was shown, I think, a couple of times in the hearing.
One was redacted. That makes no sense. This is a list of victims. That's intentional.
One of the things I heard from several of you as the process of advocating for the Epstein Transparency Act was happening was that you felt like, given the bipartisan support from both sides of the aisle, that this was not a political issue.
Yeah.
And I wonder, sitting here today, after hearing what you heard from that hearing with the Attorney General, do you still think that? Do you still think this is not a political issue?
I think the GOP is scared. I think that there's some fear there because we have amazing meetings with congressional leaders. We are in meetings all the time asking for their support. And we've actually like some of the best meetings and really compassionate people. And then when it comes time
with
to
Republicans
show up,
and Democrats.
Republicans and Democrats, yes. But I want to speak to the Democrats or to the Republicans just for a moment, because in those Republican meetings, we have these beautiful moments with them and then they're not showing up to stand with us. Like this morning, we had the press conference and Nancy Mace was the only Republican who showed up. And that was a real shame. We had a great meeting yesterday with the head of the Republican Women's Caucus, and she was incredible. And we had this beautiful conversation. And we really had hoped that she would invite more Republicans to stand with us because, again, like, I don't know how many times, like, I'm sure we're all so tired of saying that it's not political for us, right? It is a human issue. We are human beings.
I have stressed this constantly. It's not to a survivor of anything like this. It doesn't mean that it's political. And I so appreciate her saying that right then and there. I'm going to rewind that just a second because that hit home.
But invite more Republicans to stand with us because, again, like, I don't know how many times, like, I'm sure we're all so tired of saying that it's not political for us, right? It is a human issue. We are human beings. We just want to stand together. We just need to make this about survivors as a whole. It's not about Epstein and Maxwell. It's about if you've ever had any sort of sexual assault or any sort of abuse, which 1 in 4 women, and we're not even talking about the men in this country, have experienced this. So it's a huge issue that's so much bigger than this. And all we're asking for is bipartisan support. We've seen people cross the aisle before. The Transparency Act was a beautiful display of that. There was this moment, and I'm sure you guys remember it, Marjorie Taylor Greene sitting with Melanie Stansbury, and they sat there together and watched those votes come in. And it was like, thank you. That is what we're talking about. 2 powerful women coming together and just being here to support other women. And we're just not seeing that.
Let me talk about somebody who currently is in prison, and that is Ghislaine Maxwell. And some of what we heard today and some of what we've heard this week from Ghislaine Maxwell. You know, Teresa, I'm struck. I know you said recently that she was in what you described as a prison spa, essentially, a reference to her transfer to a lower security prison camp. The Attorney General referred questions on that to the Bureau of Prisons. And I wonder, as you sit here today, knowing that Ghislaine Maxwell is where she is, what would you say to the Attorney General, to her staff at the Bureau of Prisons, if you could tell them something about that?
Well, that's just a soundbite to say, yet again, another deflection to the Bureau of Prisons, that they had no hand in having her transferred from Florida to from a maximum security to Texas.
So to you, this is an accountability issue. Is that what you're saying?
For her to say, yes, for her to say she didn't know is inherently false. I'm sorry,
an accountability issue. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if y'all, we're just going to take a breather for a minute here. Deep breath in. We are a little over halfway through this video. If you don't mind and you're enjoying the content, give myself, not yourself, give me a thumbs up if you don't mind. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Yeah, make sure your notifications are on because I don't usually stream over the weekends, but sometimes I do. I usually stream Monday through Thursdays. But if you have your notifications on, I do pop up lives on the weekend. So anyways, thank you all for being here. And I am enjoying this. And let's go.
Know what's happening. They knew it was happening ahead of time. They didn't find out like we found out through the media. They knew it was probably planned for whatever reason, whatever they thought they were going to get out of Ghislaine Maxwell, a known perjurer. I'm not sure, but they knew ahead of time and they sent her there. And it's one of, I think, the most abhorrent instances of this entire post-conviction of Maxwell case.
Yep. I call it the second sweetheart deal in this case. It's the second sweetheart deal because she is getting a little pat on the wrist and a puppy, right? And Attorney General Bondi would not answer the question, who signed off on this? Who is the person responsible? I have no idea.
Earlier this week on Capitol Hill, we saw Ghislaine Maxwell deposed virtually from prison, and she repeatedly invoked her Fifth Amendment right.
She wasn't going to
lawyer
spill
said that she is.
Wait, what are you doing?
That she is prepared to speak fully and honestly if President Donald Trump were to grant her clemency. Show of hands here. Do you think President Trump should grant her clemency in order for her to speak, as her lawyer says, fully and honestly to investigators? Would you like to see President Trump rule out the possibility of any clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yes.
Show of hands on that.
Absolutely. Absolute. Look, all of us, see all them and me, all of us. No clemency, nothing. Everybody raise your hands. No, absolutely fucking not. She deserves nothing but her little cell with her 2 blankies, because we see she has 2 blankies. So no, right? The fucking nerve of this bitch demanding anything, for fuck's sakes. I hear you. No, absolutely not.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
She used that as a bargaining tool. She's staying silent to try to get something. Again, she's trying to manipulate the system.
And how fair is that?
Things that gaslight us, manipulate us. It's atrocious. This woman is worse than Jeffrey Epstein. We trusted her because she's a woman. So it was easier for her to bring us into his orbit. And then she's also in the orbit. So to give her clemency.
So she is a woman. So we trusted her because she was a woman. I probably would have been the same way. At first, that trust because she's a woman, as a teenager, as young as these women were, and I don't know, it's and she probably gave off a motherly instinct from the things I've read, and these women felt comfortable around her. Gaslighting is real. Narcissistic people are real. I don't know what to say.
Is atrocious. It makes no sense. And she's just. So it was easier for her to bring us into his orbit. And then she's also in the orbit. So to give her clemency is atrocious. It makes no sense. And she's just trying to bargain her way out.
Self-serving.
Yes, go ahead. Liz, I'm sorry. I'm looking.
It's okay. It's really concerning to me that we continue to try to give her a platform to come forward and talk about what happened when we have already seen her perjure herself in depositions, lie in her conversation with Todd Blanche, and yet, you know, there's this expectation that she's going to come forward and give all of the keys to what happened here. Why aren't they talking to the victims of the crimes, the people that experienced these crimes? Why are they not talking to us? We know what happened, and we're telling the truth. And it's really just infuriating to kind of have this constant back and forth with Maxwell. I think that we need to stop giving her a platform.
Ghislaine Maxwell is never going to say anything that holds any water. So we just need to let the air out and just let her go.
She needs to go back where she belongs.
Yes.
And what does it say about our justice system and our legal system that she even has an opportunity to even flirt with clemency or freedom? It is a stain globally, and it sets a standard. We are supposed to be setting the standard for justice and how we treat children and victims in our system. And should she be granted any more clemency and not put back where she belongs, it's a failure and it is a stain on us. And everywhere in the world is looking at us to do the right thing here.
So what would your message be to the White House on this? Because to this point, that is on the table. That is not a possibility. The possibility of pardon that the president could give, that has not been ruled out.
Yeah. Put her back where she belongs and close the door.
Yes.
And
Close the door on her.
Put her back in maximum security, not
Yeah,
where
Give her
she
more
is.
time.
Yeah.
Give her more time. Take away the puppy.
And the cell phones.
One of the things that you reference, Amanda, and I'll ask you.
Look, take away the cell phone. So, you know, here it is. She's in jail and has a cell phone just like all the other ones, you know. Okay, could you imagine? Okay, hold the press with my stressed duck. Okay, we're all gonna gather around the duck pond here. Rubber Ramada Reviews. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna have a conversation with Ghislaine Maxwell. Ma'am, why do you have a puppy in your cell, and why do you have extra blankets? I need to know. Because I don't have anything else, other things that I could say that's going to be very nice. Everything else, Abellis, I would say, would be so disgusting and so mean. Yes, a puppy. They keep talking about a puppy. I don't know why she has a puppy. Who the hell gives her a puppy while she's in prison jail cell sitting? I don't get it. You're at a Pilot gas station. Journey, you're all over the place. You go, girl. You go, girl.
Sky this to the sort of international, the global spotlight that is on this. And we've seen, you look over in the UK, we've already seen multiple people in the British government resign, come under scrutiny for their relationships with Epstein. And I wonder what you make of the way that the landscape is here in the United States related to high profile people and their ties to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah. I want to just real quick, I want to reverse back for a second on Ghislaine, because Ghislaine is part of this international sex trafficking ring. Something that Virginia said, and it always sticks with me, is that Epstein was Pinocchio and she was Geppetto. She was feeding him basically, and she was an active participant. She was often worse than Jeffrey Epstein. And the reason I say that is to go, and I'll go back to the UK here, is that they are taking more action there than we are here in the United States. To be quite honest with you, the king, I commend him. I truly do. I think it's very difficult. He's basically going up against his own brother. I mean that to say that these people, if they...
And there he's talking about King Charles and Prince Andrew, is what they're discussing there, because of, you know, obviously Andrew is, what's the word? What's the word we can, decommissioned? I don't know what, stripped of his royal type duty. How do you, Abellis, help me. What are the words I'm trying to look for? What did they do to Prince Andrew? What's it called? My words are not wording for me. Bread and water. Passed through a pigeon. A pigeon? I thought I was going to read something about the little hole in the slot in the door, and you say pigeon. Okay, Abellis is on a roll. Yes, took the crown. Deprinced. Abellis, I really thought I was going to read something about the whole thing that they stick the tray through, and you talking about eating water and bread that's gone through a pigeon. I love you. You're a mess, girl. Decrowning. Yes, the JFT3 official. Decrowning. There you go. That's the word. Denounce. Okay, we all got the right words. We just yeah. Oh, well, thank you, Hawkeyes. Former prince. He's now Andrew Montauban. Of course, I can never say that word. Windsor. He has all his royalty titles and estates revoked. Okay, I don't know you. You're new. But, you know. If the rubber fits, wear it.
They were able to commit the most heinous crime out there. What else could they have committed? Why aren't we following the money? Why aren't we taking more action? We should be opening the investigations, and we should be subpoenaing their flight records. They should be subpoenaing their bank account records and start combing through those. And let's see what's there, because I think if you follow the money trail, you're going to find some other things that they were much capable of if they were capable of doing these other things.
What are we doing as Americans? Because we need to take this a little bit more serious. Somebody has done this to a person.
And I need to pause there. She made a comment right then and there. She said we need to take this more seriously. Please understand that you watching my channel right now, I am a reaction channel. I review things. I do take things very seriously. We choose to put comedy in the chaos because that is how we deal with some of these very, very stressful situations. So please take into consideration, I am not laughing at any of these victims. I want to make that well known out here on the table right now. We take this very seriously. Although I have my stress up to get me through these really, really hard times, because there's days that we can laugh about it. There's days we can cry about it. I choose to sit here with y'all and enjoy discussing it, and we can discuss it in a safe group space. No crying, Lola. A safe group space, and that's what we are. So long as we are respectful, we can just discuss all we want, guys. And I'm not that kind of chat to just derail somebody for making a crazy comment. So, but yes, we are taking this seriously. I just have to put comedy in the chaos because that is how I deal with things.
Person who is no longer here with us, right? There is proof. And it only means what? He's going to wake up one day. And then I mean to this for all the perpetrators that have come out and, and like, Sky said, we need to follow the money. We need to get their bank accounts. We need to get their flight logs. Why? Because us and these other survivors that are Jane Does are not the only ones. There are many more out there that we do not know about. And I got to be honest with you, these perpetrators don't wake up one day and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to stop liking children. I'm going to stop being a rapist. It does not work like that. It does not work like that. It's the same way when we talk about Ghislaine. When she walks away 20 years from now, if she's still alive, what do we think she's going to do? Become a teacher?
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe her and Pam Bondi will be partners. No.
Okay. Do you see this woman just sat here and cracked a joke? She's dealing her way with her trauma. People may not agree with that. They may find that repulsive. We all have a way of dealing with our own trauma, with the mental health and the trauma that it causes. So I will back that up for just a brief second, because y'all do know I am very, very mental health awareness on this channel.
Maybe her and Pam Bondi will be partners. No, it's like, guys, these people are not going to stop. We need to stop them. So I just wonder, will the DOJ or who will start the investigation? And like Sky said, we need to pull out these records and find out more.
I want to ask you, as we're getting close to the end of our time here together.
Margie, Andrew continues to victimize these women with hid lies and denials. He is a sick man, but the Crown always protected him. He needs to be rotting below the prison. And I think the Crown has actually taken that step to remove him and his situation from their legacy. And that was the best thing that I felt they could do. I think it's a decent comment. Thank you.
About what's next. But before I do, I just want to go back as we talk about now former Prince Andrew. There was that now infamous photograph of Virginia that was decried as potentially doctored years ago. It was described by Ghislaine Maxwell herself as fake at one point. But now we've seen in this Epstein file release an email in which she appears to refer to this photograph as legitimate here. A photograph that I know, and we've talked about, tormented your family for some time.
What a day of vindication. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say how much of a truth teller she's been, and the consistency in her story has never changed. And when you go through these files and you hear the testimony of Andrew, you hear the testimony of Ghislaine, the story is always changing. Oh, maybe it was a fake. Oh, I don't recall taking that photo or being there. And then Ghislaine verifies in the email, yeah, oh yes, I did in fact introduce her to Andrew. And so again, you're just seeing this same repetition, the lies, and the one person, and it always pulls me back to what she says, especially when it comes to Andrew, is he knows what happened, I know what happened, and only one of us is telling the truth here, and I know that's me. That is the kind of conviction that she powered through this with the truth and conviction in her story. Before we end this, I want to say, yesterday we got to announce Virginia's law. And it was a dream of hers to reform the statute of limitations. And we're here, we're seeing that. Less than a year of her passing. And I want to end that on a good note, because I think the American people need to see that with all this grief and all this pain, like real change can happen. We have the power to do that. And so we're going to continuously fight, because Virginia deserves it. They deserve it. And every single survivor who has been silenced deserves it. So we can't wait to see Virginia's law pass.
Her dream was to eliminate the statute of limitations to affect real change on a global and on a national level. I mean, this was to protect her survivor sisters. This is to protect future survivors and our next generation. We get to go home to our daughters and our children and say, hey, we're fighting the bad guys. We're doing it and like eliminating this. In some states, the statute of limitations is as little as 3 years. It takes survivors, it takes victims into their 30s and 40s. And when they're moms and they finally get this power to come forward so bravely, like it takes a long time. And the statute of limitations needs to be completely eliminated to give survivors grace. In Virginia, that was her dream. And I truly hope that that can be, again, this isn't a political issue anymore. This is on a human level. I hope Republicans and Democrats and all alike, we will talk to you. We will come. Tell me the date, time, and I will be there. We can have a conversation about this and why it's so important. Come see us face to face. This is something that we can do to set a new standard moving forward, so we can teach our generation and the next generation, you know.
All of you have shown up. All of you have shown up again here today. And so as we close here, let me ask you this. Sitting in that room, being at that hearing, with a show of hands, do you trust the Department of Justice to pursue justice now for you? None of you.
I think they're going to have to learn what that is first.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So what do you want to see next?
I do not know that answer.
Brain is meant to justice.
I want to just see like women be believed. You use that word torment, and I think about Virginia, but I think about Maria Farmer, and that, you know, we have that 1996, the first half of the report. I don't know that anybody's found the second half of that report yet. And so we owe it to the survivors who came before us. We owe it to the girls and young folks in this country of the future. Like, changing statute is a huge leap forward, but also believing women first and foremost, or just believing anybody who is telling you that abuse has occurred, and giving people a safer space to come forward that is more trauma informed, is so crucial here.
Yeah. No, ma'am.
Thank you all so much for being with us. Thank you for sharing your perspective on everything that has unfolded over on Capitol Hill. And I know.
1 second, guys. Okay, I apologize for that, Mom. Y'all know I take care of my mother-in-law. She has dementia. For the newbies here, she does pop in every once in a while and come in and wants to talk to me when I'm streaming. So I have to pick and choose when I stream. And good night, Cindy. Thank you so much for being here. Crystal says, I saw there was a file with 59 charges from the first case. If he's been convicted, he would have been locked up for 100+ years minimum, but something changed, different charges, 18-month sentence. Survivors need Epstein fortune split among them. So what I want to show you real quick, we're going to switch over here. This is from yesterday. This is where Congress introduced Virginia's law. So I want to play this real quick.
Flanked by victims of the late sexual predator Jeffrey Epstein, Virginia Giuffre's brother couldn't hold back the tears, speaking about legislation named for his late sister.
I want to begin with a single word. A word that meant everything to my sister. A word we will not stop fighting for until real justice is served. And that word is change.
I was recruited at a very young age.
Giuffre. Titles. Virginia's law would remove time limitations for victims of sex trafficking her.
Sorry about that.
She accused Epstein of recruiting her into his sex trafficking ring when she was a minor working at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago club, and then trafficking her to powerful men, including Prince Andrew, who denies the accusations and who has since been stripped of his royal titles. Virginia's law would remove time limitations for victims of sex trafficking to file civil lawsuits.
This bill will unlock the doors to the courthouse for the survivors and to every Epstein co-conspirator and sexual predator. We're coming for you.
Giuffre's former attorney urged lawmakers to pass the legislation.
It is heartbreaking to be here announcing this without her. But I will tell you that her voice is being heard loud and clear.
The recent release of 3 million pages of the Epstein Files has sent shockwaves across the world. The Democratic leader of the Senate, Chuck Schumer, highlighted a letter from 20 Epstein survivors who were outraged that the Justice Department had mistakenly published their names in the files, and even published nude photos of some of the victims before taking the images down, while at the same time redacting the identities of many powerful men.
Okay. So, what we're going to switch over to is we're going to watch Virginia Giuffre. This was a video that was put out 3 months ago, but it's an actual interview from 2019. And then after that, I have another video of Virginia Giuffre's diary that was discussed. So we're going to start off with watching her, which, like I said, this was from 2019. So it's been a few years. She has since passed.
Ghislaine at their best. So they sent me to a Thai, this is Jeffrey and Ghislaine at their best. So they sent me to a Thai massage school, but not only that, I had to be in Thailand to pick up another victim. I was supposed to bring another victim home who was also staying at the Princess Hotel in Chiang Mai. And I never ended up meeting up with her. I never brought her back. I met this fella over here, and that was my journey off to Australia. Never looked back.
How did you let Jeffrey Epstein know that that's what you were doing?
I called him from the room when we just got married, from my hotel room, and I said, guess what? I got married, and I'm moving to Australia. I'm not coming back. And he was on the phone and he said, okay, well, have a good life. And he hung up the receiver, and that was it. And I didn't hear from them until 2007.
How did you feel making that phone call? And how did you feel after you ended it?
After it finished, really nervous calling him. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know, like the entire time I knew him, he always used his power and his money and his privilege against me and so many other victims. So I wasn't expecting to have a good life and hang up, but he did. And I was so relieved because that was the final chain link broken from him. That was me getting set free. And it was I still remember it to this day, it was the best feeling in the world, just knowing I can live.
Because you'd been tied to this couple for so long psychologically, was there any part of you that went, what? I mean, don't I mean more to you than that? You've just hung up on me and said goodbye and that's it?
I knew the entire time I was with them what I was for them. I was their toy to play with.
those words even coming out of her mouth make me want to vomit. Not even gonna lie. I was their toy. That just the words are haunting and frightening. These women have been through hell. And welcome in, Abraham. Good to see you. Thank you.
I'd never meant anything more than a toy to them, and I knew I was replaceable. I talk about this ever revolving door, the door that swings open and closes, and another one's in and another one's out. I mean, there was thousands of girls coming through that door. I was just another one.
And then to realize how easy it was.
And then
One
to see
phone
how
call.
easy it was. But I feel like it took me being in another country to do that. If I were to do that in America, I don't think it would have had the same outcome.
She had to literally get married, leave the country, call him up and say, hey, in other words, I would have said, yo, bitch, I'm out of here. Love ya. Not, fuck off, click. You know, I try to be respectful, but there's limits to my respect when it comes to people like that.
I think being so far away made a huge difference in that. I mean, I've heard of other victim stories who've, they've told me about when they've tried to escape and then their passports have been taken off of them and they've been dropped off at other abusive households and so on and so forth. So that.
Do we not hear this? Sorry, trying to get comfortable over here. Been here for an hour and a half. I'm trying to get comfortable. Yes, boo-boo. Yes, love. You want to get, okay, come here, everybody. Sorry, Lola needs to be seen for a minute. She wants to be seen. Okay, everybody. Okay. All right, Lola. All right, go on. Go play now. Go on, Lola. So this woman, she needed to be seen. She needed to be heard. She's voicing herself. I know. We all need that moment of Lola. We all need that Lola moment. There's a good girl. There's a good girl. I know, y'all. It's a break from the sanity. It's a break from the sanity. She knows. She knows. All right, you're on mommy's earring. Okay. Well, I always try to tell my chat we have bark warnings because yeah, they're my daily life. So anyways, okay. Let me back up for just a second.
Who've, they've told me about when they've tried to escape and then their passports have been taken off of them and they've been dropped off at other abusive households and so on and so forth. So that always rang true in my mind.
Oh, I know what I was going to say before Lola distracted me. So there was a pattern here. They were prepared to move the person from here to there to there to here. And it seems to me, in my opinion, they're just moving it down the line. If we're going to get caught here, we need to take their passport, move them here. I mean, this was so orchestrated. I find it so disturbing.
Being so far away in Thailand, inaccessible to him or anybody that he knew there. And I didn't tell him where I was going on my honeymoon. We left the Princess Hotel that day and we never looked back. I think I felt a huge weight off my shoulders, after that phone call was made. For the first time, I really just started to be who I was, a young woman free in the world to do what she wants, to tell people where to go if I want to,
I'm going to address this comment. Why did these girls not leave? They weren't victims. They went there. They went where they and when they wanted. They were around cops and other people and had access to the media. Well, Jeanette Seymour, I'm going to tell you my opinion. I usually wouldn't address something like this, but I do believe these were very powerful men with lots of money in their pockets who took time to discuss this amongst them. They are all involved among each other. Who could they have talked to and told that would have believed them? If everyone around them is being paid in this social circle Who's going to believe him? Answer me that question. We'll continue the conversation. Thank you for joining my chat.
It, like, literally, metaphorically, when I hung up that phone, that was the last chain link, or so I thought.
When you left Thailand for Australia, did any part of you want to make him accountable then? You know, did you think about going to the police at that point?
I just wanted to start my own life off. I still believed in his power. I still believed in his money and the people that he knew. So I was grateful just to get out alive.
Was there a time there where you thought you wouldn't get out alive?
Yeah, there were a few times.
There are many of us who are survivors, and we deal with it in our own ways. If anybody who has watched me stream for any amount of time, I have boldly stated that I left with my items in pillowcases in the back seat of my car. That was my escape. We learn to leave in our own way. She chose to get married, leave the country, and start her life over. This was her escape. We all have our way of dealing with it. And I can honestly say that my previous was very well known in my community. Nobody would have believed me. Nobody. So you take your way out the best way you can. Virginia got married and moved away. Bless her for that.
And yeah, no, it's there was a few times I didn't know if I was going to make it or not.
Is that by your own hand or by how you're being treated, or
By how I was being treated to some of the people that I was trafficked out to.
so what made you fear for your life? What was happening
Just
to
the
you?
abuse alone. It was physical. It was very physical.
You thought Epstein and Maxwell were out of your life?
I thought they were. We were living a pretty good life. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't fancy, but we were free and we lived and we worked and we had fun and we started having a family. And
Jeanette, I don't mind carrying on a conversation with you. Things happen in life. I can also tell you, we choose our path. We know when to leave. Have a good day.
I was pregnant with my middle child when I get a call. I still remember it clear as day. I'm walking from the back door to pick up the phone and Ellen's on the other end. I mean, I could have just dropped the baby inside of me. It was just mind-blowing. How'd you find me? How did you know where I lived? How did you get my number? Oh my God, have you guys been tracking me this entire time? I mean, there's 1,000,001 thoughts that were going through my head and I couldn't get any of the words out. And she's like, hey, how are ya? In her little poshy accent. And I was like, I'm good, Keelan. Can I help you? What's going on? Oh, well, I just wanted to know if, you knew about this investigation.
Yeah, so you hear this
So I
posh
hear
English
this
accent.
Poshy English accent. I know instantly it's Keelan. I know her voice from anything. And, from all the thoughts racing through my head, the only thing that I could say was, hi, what's going on? Can I help you? What's happening? And she goes, oh, there's this investigation going on. I didn't know if you heard of it or if you, wanted to talk or, what are you thinking? And I was like, look, I'm living my own life now. I didn't know of any investigation going on. I'm not talking to anybody. Just please don't call again. The next day, Jeffrey calls and he's got a lawyer on the other end as well. So it's like a two-way call or his lawyer's there.
And what is she supposed to do at that point? He's calling. He has a lawyer on the phone. Think about that. What would you do in that situation? What as a person who has been groomed and has tried to escape the insanity of the entire situation that's going on around you. What do? He calls you with his lawyer on the phone.
Or if you wanted to talk, or, what are you thinking? And I was like, look, I'm living my own life now. I didn't know of any investigation going on. I'm not talking to anybody. Just please don't call again. The next day, Jeffrey calls, and he's got a lawyer on the other end as well. So it's like a two-way call, or his lawyer's there. I'm not too sure, but there's two men on the phone. One's Jeffrey, one's his lawyer. And they're asking me the same exact questions Ghislaine was. Did you know about this investigation?
Right, Abraham?
Are you going to say anything? If you don't, we'll take very good care of you. I said, I don't want anything. I just want to be left alone. I've started my brand new life off. I don't want to be contacted again. Okay, no worries. Well, thank you very much. And it was like a 10-minute, conversation. He's also asking how is life, and he's pretending like a charismatic friend would. And it's like, no, I don't have time for this. No, I'm not going back down there. And then within the next week, I get this call from an investigator. Supposedly, I'm doing the air for those because I don't know to this day if he was real or not. But I get this call from an FBI agent, and instantly off the phone, he's like, do you know who Jeffrey Epstein is? Have you had sex with Jeffrey Epstein? Have you been in the shower with Jeffrey Epstein? And I mean, it was right off the bat. And I was like, this is Ghislaine and Jeffrey's manipulation way. This is exactly what went through my head, was like, this is exactly what they do to test you. I said, look, I don't know who you are until you can come show me credentials. I am not saying anything. And I hung up the phone. And I didn't think much about it until I got a knock at the door. And there was the Australian Federal Police at the door.
Okay. Doot, 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 doot. Hey, guess what? I have questions. I want all these answers right now. Excuse me? Who the fuck are you? Hang up. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? He has people just calling these survivors. I want to stop calling them victims. I want to call them survivors. And he's got fake PIs and everybody calling them. What? Excuse me? Leave them alone. And you wonder why they all came out of the woodworks and finally said, no, this shit's not going to happen anymore. We're putting a stop to this. We're all going to speak out. And they have to speak out, and they're speaking out now. Crystal, I appreciate you being here. And we're a safe space. We're a fun little group to talk to. And like I said, my chat's always an open chat. I'm very welcome and opening to all comments, and anybody and everybody pop in. I just ask that you're respectful and respectful to my mods. And if you don't mind subbing up to the channel, come back. We're here Monday through Friday usually. And welcome in all the new ones. Yep. And stress balls. I have stress duck for our little stressful moments. We are the Rubber Ramada Reviews.
And I was like, oh my God, what happened with my passport? I'm not living here illegally, am I? And they were like, no, we just need to talk to you. And, do you know who Jeffrey Epstein is? And I said, yes. And they said, okay, well, we have this notice to give you. And I opened it up, and there was a package, and it said you were notified as a victim of Jeffrey Epstein. And, it had a whole bunch of pages. I didn't even understand the legal jargon in it, but it just said, call these lawyers on the back if you want to talk about it. And so I did. And I had no clue that it wasn't going to go not to court. So I thought, if I call lawyers, that means you're going to be able to hold this guy accountable. So I go through the months of it, and then we just get told, so here's the settlement, and thank you. What? What? Aren't I going to court? Aren't we going to fight this guy? Isn't he going to jail? Oh, no.
Just a
He's already
settlement?
done some time. 13 months. For as many girls as I know he's abused.
Just a settlement.
It's just a downright disgrace.
Do you think that Prince Andrew will ever be held accountable?
I'm going to try my damnedest. It's ridiculous that it's gone on this long. There's that much evidence. that could have all of these people locked up.
That might have been a damning comment from her. Because she's no longer with us.
It's just a downright disgrace.
Do you think that Prince Andrew will ever be held accountable?
I'm going to try my damnedest. It's ridiculous that it's gone on this long. There's that much evidence that could have all of these people locked up for the rest of their lives. Why are they still walking around free right now? You know, I hope and I pray that the FBI and the international world as well can start standing behind us victims, us survivors. Give us a hand. Do something about it this time. Don't let them keep getting away.
Okay. So this video is from September 14th, 2025. But we need a break. Everybody take a deep breath. Why dogs love sleeping in the bed. Y'all know I love my doggy videos. So we're going to take a breather. We're going to watch a dog video. And then we're going to go on to Virginia Giuffre's family talking about her diary. This is 1 minute long.
Ask why we love sleeping in their bed. Yeah. Like it's some mystery.
Yeah. As if we're just there for the comfy mattress. It's way deeper than that.
They're our family, our pack.
Sleeping next to them feels like, yep, this is my person.
Facts.
Plus their bed smells like them. Warm, safe, familiar. It's like the deluxe version of peace. And honestly, we sleep better next to them. Their scent just shuts off all the worry in our brain. But here's the part humans don't get. We're not just sleeping. We're guarding. Even when we're half asleep, we're listening. One weird noise and boom, we're up, protecting them. It's our way of saying, you keep me safe all day, I'll keep you safe all night. Yeah.
When we curl up beside them, that's not a habit. That's love.
All right. That is love. So back over here, we had our breather. Okay. So this was September 14th, 2025. So it has been a few months back. This is her family and friends talk about her diary. So this gets a little rough to listen to. Again, I will once again throw my trigger warning. And it says, my browser failed to play the clip. I don't know what happened.
A courageous woman.
Okay.
Escape, but it was an escape with a happy ending.
But Virginia Giuffre kept another secret.
She was telling us, like, this is what I'm really going through.
Now, her family revealed
It's just like this switch.
her private pain
I have never seen my sister that weak.
and final wishes.
We want to make sure the world knows.
I have to agree with you on that. Just a human being. I have to completely agree with you. I think that they took her out. I really do. It was a freak bus accident from what I understood. I would like to hear more. I learn a lot sitting here with y'all and watching these. I do some research. A lot of my reviews are done blindly. So I pick and choose what I'd like to put together. And so I learn a lot with you guys. So appreciate you being here.
Virginia Giuffre was an incredibly courageous woman. She made global headlines for taking on and bringing down billionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell. In the process, she also revealed she'd been trafficked to Prince Andrew. But very few knew of the private battle she endured at home. Virginia died in April this year. Now, members of her family, along with her closest confidants, are sharing never-before-seen photos, details from her personal diaries, and other witness accounts about what was really happening in her life. They say it was Virginia's final wish to tell the world about the agony of her last days.
There's my goofy.
This is how goofy she
That's my
was.
goofy.
And you see the guy in the middle here? The guy in the middle here, that's who was on stage. Hio said his name, Danny. I think she said Danny, if I remember right. She put it in here. But yeah, so this was the guy, Sky Robbers. There you go. Yeah, this was the guy that was on stage with the women. Sky Roberts.
Sister.
That like sums her up in like one picture right there.
Oh, I love that picture.
Do you want to know who she was? This right here, 100%.
Goofy and cheeky is how Sky Roberts and Danny Wilson remember their sister, Virginia Giuffre. To the rest of the world, she may have symbolised strength, taking on some of society's most powerful, accusing them of abuse and sex trafficking.
I won't stop.
It wasn't that a picture of Prince Andrew?
Powerful, accusing them of abuse and sex trafficking.
I think that was a picture of her and Prince Andrew together, wasn't it? If I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, but I think it might be.
I won't stop fighting. I will never be silenced until these people are brought to justice.
But to these bereft brothers, she'll always be their Jenna, as they called her, to cherish and protect.
As siblings, I mean, this shows you like how much we loved each other, like how much we would lean on each other. And I think that's why we're here right now with you guys. It's why we're reading through her journals. It's why we flew up to Australia and did everything in our power because, you know, we loved her.
And your family.
Yep.
Praying for an angel to arrive.
And I know the comment was made earlier about, contacting family, a barber, or anything like that. Sometimes in life you don't have that available. She was lucky she had that available. She may not have used that resource at the time that she needed it. I know that I had no family left that I could turn to. I didn't have that resource. So not everybody has that easy resource of somebody to speak to make them comfortable to leave.
In April this year, on her remote property north of Perth, Virginia took her own life. Her death ended months of physical and emotional turmoil.
I got on the phone.
She took her own life? I thought she was hit by a bus. I thought there was something to do with the bus. Okay, see, I'm learning as we go, so I need to apologize if I'm wrong because I do not want to put out misinformation, so I'm learning as we go here.
With a private plane company to go get her. We were going to do everything in our power to get her.
But tonight, the distressing account from those left behind. Their desperate race across the world to save Virginia.
Now I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. I'm like, okay, something's wrong now. Like, I need to get in there.
And for the first time, they shared the terrible secret Virginia kept for 22 years. The truth behind her picture-perfect marriage.
She was telling us like, hey, this is what I'm really going through.
The evidence you've never heard.
And they were responding to a 911 call, a call for help?
Right. She'd been assaulted by her husband.
From the sheriff to the DA, witnesses to a marriage marred by violence.
The bruise to her eye and her cheek area was one of the worst I have seen.
And in Australia, allegations of the latest brutal attack.
And she said, I swear it was just like this switch, like he just snapped.
But then the bewildering twist. Why, despite the obvious injuries, did police believe her estranged husband and not her?
And what do you make of Robbie's claim that that was self-inflicted, that he did not beat her?
You cannot do what she did to herself. Her sternum was cracked. Her face was beaten.
This country is a second chance for a lot of people.
Again, please, if anybody, if this is too hard, you can come back another day. I am here. We do these streams regularly. Sometimes this is triggering for some, and it's hard to get through. So if you need to mind your mental health, I totally agree. Those were very hard to watch. Took me back for a second there. Sorry, I couldn't even speak looking at him.
People. For me, it was a second chance at a new life. I'll always be grateful to Australia. It's, yeah, down to its blood. I love it.
We first met Virginia in 2019. She was living near Cairns then, indulging her passion for animals and the quiet life. The cane fields of Queensland really were a world away from Manhattan, where Virginia was the most prominent voice in the fight to expose sex abuser billionaire Jeffrey Epstein and his twisted co-conspirator and girlfriend, socialite Ghislaine Maxwell. She accused them both of serial abuse and human sex trafficking, much of it here at Epstein's New York mansion.
There's a lot of scars hidden behind those walls. It should be ripped down. It should be burned to the ground. Some of my worst memories are from this place.
But her
My words. I'm trying to get my words to come to me. Sorry. To go back there and stand in front of where she's standing now, I can tell you from personal experience, it is so traumatizing to go back to that place. So I'm sure this blessed woman, bless her soul, is having so many emotions right now. I just want to hug her.
Most high-profile scalp was undoubtedly Prince Andrew, who was stripped of his Royal Highness title and duties. Virginia famously claimed to have been trafficked to him 3 times by Maxwell.
This is a real photo.
And that was the first time you met him?
And that's the very first time I met him. And that's right before I was abused by him.
And Virginia said she was underage at the time.
It's about time that we all stand up together and stop letting the perpetrators, the very strong and powerful, involved in this case in particular, getting away with bullying us back into silence. Times have changed. I think the tide of the Me Too.
What no one knew was behind the extraordinary victory on the public stage, Virginia was staying silent on a very private battle. She has since alleged her Australian husband, Robbie Giuffre, had been coercive and violent throughout their marriage. With her gone, it's surreal and unsettling to watch them together. I interviewed the couple 5.5 years ago, and back then, neither gave any clue to problems of any kind.
I have that ability.
Instead, much was made of Robbie's role in rescuing Virginia in 2002 from Epstein's clutches. She was in Thailand, sent by Epstein to study massage.
Like immediately.
You heard that right. Sent to Thailand to study massage by Epstein. This was the one that was doing the massage school for Epstein.
Robbie was a martial arts instructor there at the same time. Incredibly, just 3 days after meeting her, he popped the question.
Yeah, still remember when I went down on one knee, my old-fashioned style, and proposed. Yeah.
Goodness, how could you both be so certain of each other after such a short amount of time?
Yeah, that's the magical question. You just know.
You just know?
Personally, I knew he was the one when he told me, the way that your life is going right now, the people that are abusing you, it's not right. And you don't have to live like that. And he was the first person to tell me that.
This might seem a bit harsh or mean to ask you, but did either of you think that instead of true love, that this was an escape route?
It was an escape, but it was an escape with a happy ending.
It was.
Still
I knew
is.
she was the one. I knew her from the first time I met her.
Even then, not everything was as it seemed. And in the years after, according to Virginia's brother Sky Roberts, their marriage spiraled.
This was the man that, in her perception, took her away from Epstein, right? Like where he helped get her away. And you would expect that to be like the Prince Charming story where you ride off into the distance and it's this beautiful ending. But it's not. I think over the course of years, it developed into this physical and emotional abuse.
In September last year, Virginia and Robbie separated. But it is only now that Virginia's allegations of Robbie's coercive control and violence are being made widely known.
Robert's behavior became more controlling. The stronger I became, the scarier he became.
We would not be aware of the extent of the abuse if not for Virginia's diary.
Imagine being a family member and finding a diary written by your sister of all these horrific things that happened in her life and have to be the one to read through this after she's gone. Very, very tragic and heartbreaking. These are some very strong men sitting here. He was her savior. This brother is a saint.
It's on these pages she shared her painful and personal secret, her final words, only discovered after her death.
Wavered as he constantly accused me of being unfaithful almost on a daily basis, monitoring me via the many cameras he has set up at Ocean.
Sky is reading out his sister's words, certain she wanted to reveal the reality of her life behind closed doors.
Not allowed to go downstairs when any mail was over, and that was every day. I became a prisoner.
Did she explain why she kept that secret?
I think there was just this sense of like how strong she was in the public eye, but then she couldn't fight the demon of, what was going on in her own home. And her own home is really what her hardest battle of her life was. And we want to be strong for her. And we want to make sure the world knows her truth and, what she wanted people to know and understand about her.
Up next.
And that's very important as a survivor, is getting your truth out there. If you want it heard, scream it from the top of your lungs.
The holiday that ended in hospital, and the courts issue a restraining order against Virginia, not Robert.
I'm not going to say what's coming to my mind there. We'll just...
Why don't you tell me what's on your mind?
Inflicted, how did she run into his hand? I mean...
It's so cold. We run this.
In January this year, picturesque Dunsborough in Western Australia was the destination of choice for Virginia Giuffre and her estranged husband, Robbie. Virginia had booked this holiday home for the family to come together to celebrate their daughter's 15th birthday. Instead, according to the mum of three, it was where Robbie verbally and physically assaulted her nearly 3 months before she died in late April.
She started to... So I just wanted to let you know, I just dropped 2 links. Yes. To an extent, the new husband was also an abuser. Different ways, but yes, an abuser. And so I dropped 2 links in chat. One is the 988lifeline.org and the rain.org. Those are 2 organizations. Should you need any assistance, they're available 24/7.
Tell us what happened. We knew they were separated for some time.
Virginia told her sister-in-law and brother, Amanda and Sky Roberts, the alleged attack was her breaking point. They're sharing the harrowing details and these confronting photos for the first time, following Virginia's wishes to let the world know the violence she says she lived with.
He wanted to be intimate with her. And she said she first tried to laugh it off and, oh no, and she said, I swear it was just like this switch, like he just snapped. And before I knew it, he was just on top of me and just raining down blows on top of me. And she said that he's had her in like a martial arts position. There was bruising all over her chest, and his ring imprint was on her cheek. And she said that she had a cracked sternum and a perforated eye.
Lynette Wilson, Virginia's other sister-in-law, was accustomed to seeing her as the rest of us did.
I will drop it in the chat. This is, it is a 60 Minutes Australia. Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre's diary revealed, 60 Minutes Australia. All the links to these are in the description box. So if anybody wants to review any of these without my commentary, they are all in the description box upon my completion of the stream. So
afraid to expose abusers.
And thank you, Relic. We'll just call you Relic. How about that? Because we'll just call you Relic. I'll go with Relic. Thank you for being here.
This is a real photo.
No matter how powerful or wealthy. But following the alleged assault in January, Lynette discovered another side to this trailblazer.
How devastating was it for you to see those photos of her?
It gives me goosebumps right now thinking about it, because she's this strong woman, and that's, I've known her actually since she was a little girl. She's gone through so much, and she's always had this joyful presenting outlook, and to see in that moment her hurt and fear, it was startling.
It would appear Virginia and Robert have very different accounts of what happened here in Dunsborough, though both admit there was violence. From what Virginia told family back in the States, after she rejected Robert's request for sex, he physically assaulted her, punching her over and over. But Robert's version has Virginia as the aggressor. He has made allegations that after their conversation deteriorated into an argument, Virginia assaulted him with headbutts, punches, and spitting. He claimed all he could do was to try and protect himself by covering his face and fleeing as soon as he could. As for Virginia's obvious injuries, Robert alleges she caused those to herself.
I don't think she could have caused a fractured sternum and caused the bruising that she had on her body. Just don't think that it's...
So just for little bit of background knowledge, I can tell y'all that the couple met in 2002 while Virginia was in Thailand training as a massage therapist, and married shortly after. They had 3 children together, 2 boys and 1 girl. Couple separated around August 2023 after 20 years of marriage. In early 2025, just months before her death, Virginia publicly alleged that Robert had been physically and emotionally abusing her for years. Robert's attorney declined to comment on these allegations due to ongoing legal proceedings in Australia. In February 2025, Robert obtained a family violence restraining order against Virginia, which granted him primary custody of their children and prohibited her from contacting them. Virginia was facing charges for allegedly breaching this order at the time of her death. She died by excited on April 24, 2025, at the age of 41 at her farm in West Virginia. Following her death, a legal battle began over her multi-million-dollar estate, including properties purchased with the settlement money from Prince Andrew. Her sons applied to be the administrator of the estate and have challenged an informal will. Robert has been involved in these proceedings as a potential party or guardian of their minor daughter. So, there's a little bit of info. Your name is actually, oh, it's spelled backwards. It's a phishing thing. I get it now. I see it backwards. Thank you for telling me that. Your favorite food is sockeye salmon. I have trouble eating salmon. It's just one of those fish that I don't like. You give me a catfish, you give me a muddy catfish any old day. You give me a river cat any old day. I'm good. Salmon, nah, that's too snooty for me. I just go with them river fish.
Possible. And I believe Virginia and what she said about what happened that night.
Carrie Loudon was Virginia's lawyer and friend. She believes Virginia's injuries look like she came off second best in a one-sided fight. On top of previous injuries from accidents and back surgery, she says Virginia was already very incapacitated and required a carer.
Robbie said he suffered bruising and scratches, that he was spat on, and that he feared for his safety and the safety of his children. Why are you laughing?
It's just absurd. It just beggars belief that he could say that he was physically scared and threatened by Virginia, who had a full-time carer. She was unable to live independently because of her injuries and health concerns.
Robbie made allegations against Virginia's mental health at the time, saying that she was unwell, manipulative and unpredictable. Did you see any evidence of that instability that might have caused her to attack him?
No, I didn't see anything from Virginia that would have caused her to attack him or for her to be physically able to attack him.
Because Parabola, because Miss Mandy, because some people are in vertical and some are in horizontal. That's why you don't see everybody. I have both running at the same time, so they're just all over the place right now. Bellis is over there in vertical and you are in horizontal, so that's why. Yeah, she does. She looks really bad, and you know, again, for any of y'all just coming in, you always take care of your own mental health before watching my streams. This I gave a trigger warning at the beginning. This has been a rough watch. We're going to finish out this, and it's got about 25 minutes left, and that'll be it for tonight, and we will pick up where we left off with more of the survivors speaking out. So we're going to finish this one out. And thank you for being here, Chris. Nice to meet you. And yes, exactly what a narcissist says. Exactly.
Him. I just don't think it was possible.
Virginia called the police the next morning. On seeing her, they advised her to go to the local Bustleton hospital.
Good night, Hawkeye.
Police then investigated Robbie for assault, but say there was insufficient evidence to charge him.
What did Robbie tell police?
Robbie told police something along the lines of that Virginia had inflicted these injuries on herself and that he hadn't touched her. That's what the police had relayed to me and to Virginia about why they closed the case.
So they accept.
Excuse me? I don't know about y'all, but I saw those photos that just scroll by here. Yeah, see, we're at 16 minutes in. This is a 41-minute video. We're already 16 minutes in, so we got less than 30 minutes left, so about 20, 25 minutes. So, yeah, if you want to hang out, hang out. Because after that, I have to go because I have to go cook dinner.
Did that at face value?
The only two people who knew what happened was Virginia and Robbie, and they believed Robbie's version of events over Virginia's.
Thank you.
Despite claiming he'd been assaulted and injured by Virginia, Robbie never sought medical help. He did, however, go to court and, as the process allows, was armed only with his version of events. The magistrate granted him a 6-month family violence restraining order against Virginia. It forbade her from going within 25 metres of her estranged husband or their home. Back in the States, Virginia's brother, Sky, cannot be persuaded by police or the court. To him, his sister's bruises are proof she was the victim. He says the gravest injustice against her was being banned from seeing or contacting 2 of her 3 children, who were under 18 at the time.
That shocked me. I was confused because how can you put a violence restraining order on somebody who has been abused? You would traditionally think that that would be on the person that is the abuser.
In the US, Robbie's allegations against Virginia have raised doubts because it's here in Colorado that he has prior form for domestic violence against Virginia. In 2015, Sheriff Dale King was part of the investigation that led to...
Okay, I'm sorry. That was a squirrel moment. That was just, y'all, I'm sorry. That was just a squirrel moment. I had to pause. Yeah, my husband works nights. So I don't cook dinner. He doesn't come home till 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's why I do a lot of my streaming at night, because my husband works nights. So that gives me the time to be here with y'all and do my thing that I enjoy doing so much. And then when he gets home at 3, then I have dinner ready. So it is what it is. We don't have normal hours around my house. Yeah, but anyways, watching this guy walk in, I'm going to back it up. It was just really like the way he comes strutting in and the camera panning up on him, his cowboy hat blocking out the, I don't know. It just kind of just threw me. I had like a whole squirrel moment that I was like, wait, what am I watching for a second here? I'm going to back it up for just a second so y'all
To
can see
15, Sheriff Dale King was part of the investigation that led to Robbie's conviction. Dale is sad to admit he was not surprised to learn of Virginia's recent injuries.
So her allegation was that Robbie did that to her.
Right.
His allegation is that it was self-inflicted.
I'm not going to say what's coming to my mind there.
Why don't you tell me what's on your mind?
Inflicted how? Did she run into his hand? I mean...
In 2014, chased by the media frenzy surrounding the Epstein case, Virginia, Robbie and the kids escaped to tiny Penrose in Colorado. The peace Virginia sought in this one-horse town was shattered when, in a peak of anger, Robbie physically attacked her.
The dog had done something, and he got mad and grabbed the dog. I believe she said like in a headlock. I mean, put his head right here and started punching the dog.
fucking what? I'm scarred. What? So he was already abusing a dog. Telltale signs. Hello. Holy hell. What?
Robbie physically attacked her.
The dog had done something, and he got mad and grabbed the dog. I believe she said like in a headlock. I mean, put his head right here and started punching the dog. And she got down and she tried to stop him and she tried to pull him off, and he turns attention from the dog and starts hitting her.
So this isolated property...
I can say it would have all been over at that point. Time to pack it up and leave. But the bad part is, when you're in that kind of situation, you can't always just pack it up and leave. Been there, done that. So me wanting to say, pack your shit and run would be a positive thing to say, but it's not always a realistic outcome in that moment. So, sorry, I had to take a deep breath there. And you are right, Hawkeyes. If you can hurt an animal, you can hurt anything or anyone. Once you don't touch my dogs. Look at Heel over here. She's having, you see this little comment by Heel? She's having a meltdown Right now, she's punching air. I can guarantee you she's punching air when she heard that about a dog, much less a human being. Don't fuck with my dogs. Don't mess with my animals. Don't mess with me. Don't touch my animals. Yes, absolutely. I have done that. I did. I went back. It was what I knew. I had to totally change my life and my entire background in order to get out of the situation. So sometimes you cannot just walk away at that moment.
Is one that you know pretty well.
Yes, this is where Jenna and Robert, they lived when they were here.
In Colorado, the authorities take domestic violence very seriously. That night, Robbie was arrested, removed from the family home, and put in jail.
She had some bruising on this side of her, the left side of her face.
And immediate support was provided to Virginia, who the next morning met with the local district attorney, Amy Wren.
I highly doubt that was his first time assaulting her.
And why do you say that?
Just the severity of the assault. And most offenders don't immediately go to that level of assault.
How would you describe that level of assault?
I was surprised she didn't have any broken bones in her face. The bruise to her eye and her cheek area was one of the worst I have seen for what would be a misdemeanor assault here. I remember being shocked by it.
A misdemeanor assault. And you know what? No, I don't want anybody to be feeling sorry or anything for me. I want this to be an open, safe space. This is we as human beings. Many of us have dealt with things like that. Many of us have. And many of us have kept mouths quiet, shut. We're told not to speak on things. I was 48 years old before I got my voice. I'm in my 50s now. And I forever, ever since I've had this channel, have said, speak out, speak your truth, say what you need to say. You are special. You have a voice. Use it. And if you need help, reach out. One moment will be the right time. You have to find that right moment. So, right? Self-inflicted. Get the fuck out of here. Self-inflicted. No. All right. So, 2015 M128, Fremont County, people of the state of Colorado versus Jeffrey Robert Anthony. Case status suppressed, closed, domestic violence. 11/10/2020. Appealed, no.
Robbie pleaded guilty to domestic violence. And as a first-time offender in Colorado, he was given probation as long as he underwent a 26-week course.
Hold the phone. Hold the phone. What? Please tell me I have something in my ears. Please tell me I have something in my ears. He got probation.
Guilty to domestic violence. And as a first-time offender in Colorado, he was given probation as long as he underwent a 26-week course addressing violent behaviour and coercive control.
Did you have any sense, or did either of them say to you whether this had happened in the past?
No. But there were injuries this time. And he was beating on the dog first, she told me. I don't think that probably was the first time.
Sheriff Dale King's instincts may well be right if Virginia's own words are to be believed. 3 weeks before her death, Virginia sent a disturbing bombshell text to her New York publicist, Deanie von Merfling. accusing Robbie of abusing her as far back as 2010, just after the birth of her third child, and 5 years before his conviction for domestic violence in Colorado.
She wrote to me on April 4th. He was coming down off a 3-day bender and punched me in the face, which dropped me to the floor and continuously kicked me in the stomach. This man has been violent throughout the whole marriage. I did call the cops on him, who turned up, and by that time, Rob reverently pled on his hands and knees not to charge him. He always apologized and said that he needed help and would never do anything like that again. But as time went on, it only got worse. I'm shattered even writing this.
That sounds so familiar. So familiar.
What was it like for you to read it?
I mean, I was devastated. To think that this is the life that she was living and that it was much more prevalent than anyone could have guessed.
Does it make you sad?
That's an understatement.
It makes me pissed.
What sort of a person did you find in Virginia?
Can we have a minute? Can I get up in?
Of course.
Coming up, tracking down the Australian witness who backs Virginia's claims that she'd long been a victim of domestic violence.
It was clearly a very obvious black eye.
Try to keep his range short.
Before her death in April, high-profile sex abuse victim Virginia Giuffre made damning allegations of domestic violence against her husband, Robbie. She alleged to family and friends violence occurred throughout their 22-year marriage, but detailed in particular one assault she says happened while living in Australia in 2010. We've now tracked down witnesses who support that allegation. They're a part of the couple's circle and say they remember the time clearly.
She had a great sense of humour, very intelligent, and just a lot of fun. And I really respected her as a mother as well. It was just very clearly evident that they were her world and that she was just full of love.
While Jane is too frightened to reveal her identity, her friendship with Virginia all those years ago compels her to share what she, along with 7 or 8 others, witnessed.
There was one time when I just saw a mark on her face and I didn't ask anything of it because it was just like, it was a mark, and then it was probably about 6 months down the track where she had a very obvious black eye. I just said, that wasn't Robbie, was it? And she said, yes. She said it was. And I said, oh my God, I can't believe it. And I said, this is not okay. And she just sort of shrugged and just said, oh, it was just a little scuffle.
That's the problem of survivors of abuse, is we all brush it off. It's okay. It was just a little scratch. It'll heal. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me.
No big deal.
Her first response to you was to minimise it.
Yeah, very much so. But she confirmed that it was Robbie. Yeah.
Did it look minor to you?
It did not, no.
It may not have looked minor to her, but as the person that it was happening to, in my case, I minimized it. I just minimized it. You know, it was what it was. Right. He won't do it again. I promise it'll never happen again. God, I cannot count on fingers and toes how many times I heard, I'll never do it again. Please forgive me, Sheila. I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. And until you get to that point, part of my problem was, and this is just me being honest, I was in a financial burden because he controlled all the money. I couldn't just leave because he financially had all the control. Lesson learned. So we have our reasons, you know, as I have said, we have our reasons. So yeah, it'll never happen again. I'm so sorry. I love you. That's not love, buddy.
Not the second time, absolutely not. It was clearly a very obvious black eye.
But it was this social media post made in March this year that first alerted the world Virginia was in trouble.
Epstein and Prince Andrew's accusers, Virginia Giuffre, is tonight in a Perth hospital.
She is fighting for her life after a bus crash, and a serious crash which has left her with just days to live.
She had been a passenger in a car hit by a school bus, a crash she alarmingly claimed left her so injured she only had 4 days left to live. It was a private post Virginia accidentally made public, but instead of sympathy, the general response was immediate scepticism and derision. Doubt Virginia's brother, Danny Wilson, says was unfair and unfounded.
It was an alarming post to read that Virginia had been told that she had 4 days to live.
So I spoke with the doctors, and they told me she was in very serious shape and she had 0 kidney function. What the doctor had told her was, like, untreated in your condition with 0 kidney function, if you do not get treatment, you got about 4 days before your body poisons itself.
That's true.
Did she ever try to convince you to come out for a visit?
She always wanted me to come visit.
Virginia did get the treatment she needed, but according to her New York publicist and close friend, Deanie von Merfling, the accident couldn't have happened at a worse moment.
I think they're having a really hard time.
It followed an alleged attack by her estranged husband, Robbie Giuffre, 2 months earlier, in January this year, which resulted in a restraining order against her. She was also banned from seeing her children for 6 months, something she found unbearable, as she shared with Deanie.
What did she say?
She told me she wanted to die. She didn't have her kids. That was all she cared about, was her kids.
You know, thinking back, Muffins, when she comes in, which Muffins hadn't been in a while. She may be in the background watching. I don't know. But she knows, I've told her, she was my rock. I had her young, but she was my reason for living. I went through hell, but it was for her. She was everything to me. And if it came to the point of somebody completely taking her away from me, which she was taken away from me for a few years, and we had regrets over that, and we eventually ventured back together. But yeah, losing her was a very hard time in my life. And I cannot imagine this woman being torn from her children in the emotional and mental state she was in.
There was no point. I called her family in the US and told her brothers they had to go.
You're right, Rob.
We were like, we have to get up and go right now.
Virginia's sister-in-law, Amanda, and brother, Sky Roberts, had no doubt about how serious it was.
Was Virginia asking for you to come at that point?
I have never seen my sister that weak. I think that was the conversation that really drove me to be like, we have to go. We don't have a choice anymore.
Sky and Danny made a mercy dash to be by their sister's side, with Danny leaving the States first.
She had gone through so much. It was
kind of like a cat, always landing on their feet. You just expected her to be okay.
A fortnight later, Sky followed.
I think you can see it in that picture. I just think you could see the relief from her. Like my family's here. I'm okay.
Mandy, I just want everybody to know I want it to be a safe space for us to all freely talk about these things. It happens. It happens to many of us. And we're scolded for it. I was told not to talk about it. This is just hush hush. You don't discuss this. And I got my voice. And I don't mind sharing. But I want to make sure that this is a safe space for anybody and everybody. And I appreciate everybody being here.
In that moment, did you?
Seeing this man tear up, I'm trying not to look over at the screen and see tears in his eyes because I'm not going to cry in front of y'all tonight.
I mean, was that encouraging for you?
Yeah, that was very encouraging.
With the end of her marriage, Virginia sought refuge here on her isolated property in near Gabby, about an hour north of Perth. Despite being in the middle of nowhere, she considered this to be her happy place, out of the spotlight and where she could care for her beloved animals. But ultimately and sadly, Virginia could not find the solace she was seeking. On April 24th, Virginia was home alone. Sky had chores to do in the nearby town. When he returned later that evening, he couldn't raise his big sister.
I walk up to the door, I start knocking. I'm like, Jenna, are you in there? Like, everything okay? I'm like, she's not answering. Like, and then I go to check the door and the door's locked. That's weird. Like, shouldn't usually knock the door. Now I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. Okay, something's wrong now. Like, I need to get in there. And so I'm beating on the door. And I was like, screw it, I'm going to kick in it. And so I kicked the door open, and that's when I found my sister. I attempted to resuscitate her for 45 minutes. I called the authorities immediately. And and she was pronounced dead about an hour later.
Coming up.
Mandy, I'm not going to pop that on the screen, but we have overcome a lot. Like I said, it was at the point of putting the straw down, if you know what I mean, before I was able to get my life straight, and that was 48 years old. So, and I am in my almost mid 50s. I'm 53. So I've had almost 6 years of sobriety and living my best life with my Savior. You all hear me talk about Hector all the time. He is, couldn't ask for a better man in my life. And again, Mandy, I'm so sorry that you dealt with that, but you are who you are today. And that's what matters most.
The unthinkable. Virginia's distraught family blocked from her funeral.
Her mother deserves to put her to rest. Her family deserves to put her to rest.
Virginia Giuffre, the fearless sex abuse survivor, revered for her fight against the powerful and depraved, took her own life in April this year. Her death is being deeply mourned by her family in the United States.
You got these beautiful creatures and animals that are so powerful, and I think it represents her in so many ways.
But their loss is compounded by anger. They're devastated they were not invited to Virginia's funeral. Her brother, Sky Roberts, says the 41-year-old's estranged husband, Robbie, held a private service without bothering to tell them. They say it's yet another example of the little regard.
What a piece of shit. I'll just say it. I'll just say it. Y'all, my mouth is going to overrun me tonight. Dude, this guy right here on my screen, right here. I can't even get my finger turned around right. Look, because I'm so, this guy, piece of shit. I'll say it. Excuse me? Had her funeral and didn't even. Okay, Sheila, calm down. Sheila's gonna lose her shit. Y'all, I'm gonna lose my shit. Hey, girl, you're late. I'm fixing to be done. You're gonna have to start all the way from the beginning. Whew.
Year-old's estranged husband, Robbie, held a private service without bothering to tell them. They say it's yet another example of the little regard he's shown them over the years.
How much of a shock, Sky, did that come to you to know that a funeral had taken place that you didn't know about?
I guess the simple answer to that is that I didn't come to a surprise at all. I think because it would have been the right thing to do. And so, no, it wasn't a shock to me that we weren't invited and that we had to find out third party, which I think is very heartless.
Well, how hurt were you by it?
I mean, I'm very hurt by it.
No doubt Robbie can be disarming, as we found him in this interview 5.5 years ago, where his support for Virginia and her escape from the powerful people who abused her seemed boundless.
Her making that jumping leap, I always say, is the most miraculous. She took the leap. She's the one that learned how to trust again. So she's my little warrior.
You okay?
But since then, their marriage disintegrated. It's been revealed Virginia accused Robbie of frequent domestic violence. In turn, he got a restraining order against her in January this year. And she...
You know, isn't that like, I'm going to get you before you get me type thing is exactly how I see that happening. I'm going to get you before you get me. Because that's what happened with one of my situations was, no, I'll get there first so you look like the idiot.
She was banned from seeing her kids for 6 months.
Was there any chance?
And I apologize for talking so much and being, well, I shouldn't even apologize. I have said a lot tonight and opened myself up to a lot. And this has triggered a lot of memories, and trauma response is a thing. It's a very heavy thing. And again, a lot of us in here, as y'all know, we do talk a lot of mental health. So, you know, we go back to the mental health aspect of this. This is a very triggering situation. Rubber what? Rubber's here.
That Virginia, in the allegations she made against Rob, exaggerated it in any way, made false statements, lied about it?
When are we going to start believing survivors? We're so quick to try to debunk that person's actually telling the truth. So the answer unequivocally is absolutely yes. I believe my sister.
The family says Robbie's apparent campaign against Virginia did not come as a complete surprise. He had long revealed his nasty side to Virginia's mother.
He would call her things like stupid. And there's some words here I probably won't state. You know, I pray for you. Who is that fiery wench? You're old. I see dumb people. I'm a unitard. Dumb you are. What an idiot.
These are just some of the abusive messages Robbie allegedly sent his mother-in-law after commandeering Virginia's mobile. According to Virginia, he would often take her phone to read her messages and to send these outrageous texts.
He'd say things like, send us the dates, stupid. Shut up, stupid. This one's pretty yucky. This one I think is very, very important because it states, and this is to my mom from Virginia, in her words, Rob's being very rude. The only way to try to hurt me is to hurt you. I'm so sorry. Please ignore his texts.
Quite disturbing.
They're very disturbing. And I think this is the type of human being he is. There's even one here.
With Virginia's death, Robbie's heartlessness was further exposed. Her family asked for a small amount of Virginia's ashes to be sent to them. Robbie has never bothered to respond.
At that point, the mission was get my mom what she wants. Mom doesn't care about money or stuff. She just wanted a little cup of her ashes. And we called and we emailed and we texted, and we were very careful about the way that we presented it because they've got people grieving on their end too, going through the same thing. But hey, do the right thing.
Virginia's last wish was to have those ashes spread here at this wolf sanctuary in Colorado, one of her favourite places. While that wish has so far been denied, her family held a memorial here for her earlier this year. On their return, they're welcomed by a mournful sound they find fitting for this moment.
This place is very special to us. I'll say we feel like we can hear her when they howl. And it's just a very special place for us.
Virginia's family remains painfully fractured. Sky and Danny are fearful of losing all contact with their niece and nephews, who clearly meant so much to Virginia, as she wrote in her diary.
To the kids, every day that I don't see your faces has a little less light. The world is dimmer without you in it.
Her final goodbye to her 3 children is heart-wrenching, but it's a message Sky says is essential they hear.
It'll all be all right. You'll always have a rainbow over your head, angels by your side, and God in your heart. I'm here for you, here and everywhere.
And that was essentially the end of the diary.
Okay. And I think it's important for the kids to know how much their mother loved them.
But there's yet another battle for this grieving family. When Virginia died, it's believed she was a multi-millionaire, following payouts from Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Prince Andrew. According to her lawyer, Carrie Loudon, Virginia wanted her children to be the major beneficiaries. As she made clear, she did not want Robbie to get a cent.
She wanted to make sure that her kids were looked after and some other family members.
Virginia had an intended will, but unfortunately died before she signed it. Now her 2 adult sons are arguing in the Supreme Court because she didn't sign the will she wrote, she technically died without one. If they win their claim under the law, her estate will be divided between Robbie and the kids.
Oh, that's horrible. Since she didn't get it signed before she passed. Oh no, those poor. Okay, sorry. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Whew.
Robbie would be entitled to about a third of the estate, and then the children would be entitled to the remaining 2/3 of the estate.
To be divided up equally between each child.
That's right.
How do you think Virginia would feel about that?
She would be horrified.
Why is that?
The idea that Robbie gets money from her estate was something that she was dead against. She didn't want money, which was payouts, essentially settlements from her being a victim of sexual abuse, going to Robbie, who had himself abused her.
She made that clear to you?
She made that clear to me. She made that clear to everyone.
All right.
Beautiful. Virginia Giuffre will always be remembered for overpowering some of the world's most powerful people. But she also wanted to be recognised for her vulnerability. She bravely shared her secrets to be transparent about a life that wasn't always what it seemed.
I just don't want her to fade away and what she did to fade away. I just think she was tired. I think she was tired. I think so many things had just weighed on her over the years, from the abuse with Epstein to the abuse in her own home, to losing her kids, to feeling like the Australian government didn't have her back and not seeing a way out to get her kids. That was her number one thing in her life.
Wow. That was pretty emotional. That was pretty emotional. That was a lot. You think so? The final straw for her was the end of her marriage. And them taking those children and him trying to take the children away was a lot. That's a lot. You know, in times we want to leave, we want to escape, we want to go to our safe space. And I'm always here. My chat's always open when you see me on. So if you don't mind, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on because I go live all different times of the day and night. Yeah. And during so many things resonated listening to this story. We try to be okay. We want to present ourselves okay. But sometimes we're not. So always hug your loved ones and reach out, you know, because you don't know who's hurting, who needs to be heard, who needs that extra ear, who needs that phone call, that one friend to pick up the phone and say, hey, what's going on? Why did you just do that? Why? I seen you, blah, blah, blah. Are you okay? You need that one friend. So always know. And if y'all ever need a chat, I do have Discord. I don't know if anybody's interested in Discord. If one of the mods wouldn't mind dropping my Discord link, that's always available. And you can always find one of us in there. We're going to shift gears. We're going to watch a cat video before we close out because we have to have that palate cleanser. And my dogs, as y'all hear, it is that time of day because they know mommy's fixing to cook. So they're in here ready to play and act like a bunch of banshees and run wild. So yeah, if I think if Bellis can get in there and get the link for Discord. But we're going to watch these cats videos because I have a few great mods that always drop in and send me the
Tell me somewhere free along haunting mountain breeze. Hear no sacred word and no solution. I know for his attention this more is the place.
I think I can grab that link real quick.
morning memories won't want to listen. And over me's attention was all in the place. It's morning memories won't want to listen. Look, I'm listening to find the hero down.
I probably shouldn't be playing this music. I didn't even think about that. I think cats be climbing the wall, y'all. The cats be climbing the wall. Strings hanging from the wall. I rescued kittens one time. It didn't work out very well. Look! That cat just climbed up the wall. He knocked that egg off the table. Y'all, I dropped a whole box of eggs the other day in the kitchen. It was a mess. You know, right. My problem is he had all the money, told lots of lies, and I was in a position of not being able to leave because no one believed me. But we make it through. We are survivors. So, with that, always spay and neuter your pets, as I have repeatedly said over these last few days, because we learned about having puppies. So any of the newbies here, if you want to check out, I do have some shorts. I have some videos of puppies. We had puppies. They are all gone. Hio, my wonderful right hand, has my favorite little girl, Tali. She is Meat and Lola's sweetest spawn. She is a very misunderstood little puppy, but Hio is doing a wonderful job taking care of her. So with that, I want you all to have a great rest of your night, and spay and neuter your pets until I see y'all tomorrow. Peace. Rubber out. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Bye.